In the low house, butt end to the sea, she fed the children first and ate the wind. She got up in mean light to fill and heat the copper, clean the hearth, find eggs, and set lines, with scarce a word from him at work away. Their children scratched amongst the hens, and sang her songs, and learned the art of griddle scones, which only wants good oatmeal in the keg and a quick hand. She wasn't hungry. Once her nails began to bow in, spoon-shaped, bluish. Her milk stayed fine, the baby didn't cry. Another kind of sound kept on that wasn't tides nor birds, their only neighbours, like a voice, a wanting voice. She listened for it a long time, till she found out what it wanted and how to answer on the day the keg was empty and the cow went dry on them. But then she slipped and fell, and the children were frightened with what she'd done to the hen that had stopped laying when her foot slipped on blood. Above the wind's cry, the noise frightened them. When she threw the clock and skimmed the keg, clattering along the dresser, calling out, they hadn't heard her call that way before, but it was not to them. So she was not allowed then for a long time after. She was taken off away. And her things were not allowed neither, bar some the nosy just came by to say. They told her this, the place where she'd been put. Her head was full of comfort at the time, though, with what she heard behind the words they spoke. Now there is a second page, and I've just found it. Her children, called out after, lived amongst his folk and missed her. She could not attend to being ashamed because of her deep comfort, but this caused offence. Her children grew into their different lives the long time she was put back up together, kept from them. He got distillery housing, brought them home to rake out cinders after school or work and start tea off. He'd cobble up the holes that made for chilblains. He set whitewashed stones around a flower bed and knew what to say when neighbours stopped to talk. Then she came out and balked at them and left, upright, alone. She'd quick hands still, good boots, a haversack, and walked off to the back hills, fit to earn her keep, to get hay in, pull kale, or wash and clean. She lived with owls in emptied bothies there, and moved from farm to farm. Tidy and self-contained, she said she was no trouble amongst friends, quiet friends. She listened out when the winds blew and kept silence herself. But when he died, she came back wearing a decent hat and told the minister, dry-eyed, you can't tot it up like a shop bill. No love is lost, and ate a dainty tea. She blinked in disbelief at how things were, at what was going forward in the name of the Board of Highlands and Islands these days now. She went off in a post van with her hat pulled hard against the rain. She picked spuds on hill farms, but stood still, listening when the wind spoke, smiling and content, eyes closed. Then she grew old and creaky. She took all this into her heart like the seed of a child and crept home, soft, to claim her pension and a place amongst her own. Yet always she would struggle up and pull the door back for the winds and get propped up, facing into them, listening and alert, behind shut eyes and a closed, tilted mouth. Thank you.